Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? This is Sammy Leggett here representing Team JVS, here to give you guys another movie review. This is an anime film called The First Slam Dunk. I will tell you guys this that I have never seen the original Slam Dunk, but I will tell you this brief but to the point. This was an amazing anime film. If you are a fan of sports or basketball or fellowship or brotherly love or family trial and tribulation and coming through all the odds to figure out what your place is in life, there is a pivot in this movie that it gives all of that and more. On top of it having excellent animation, excellent characters, and amazing rich story that I think you guys will actually love. But I'm gonna give you a little bit of brief background on it. So there is a basketball game going on in the Shohoku High. The basketball team, they're the vets. That's everywhere you see right now on the screen. And they are going up in the inter high school national championship. Now, that seems normal, right? But what you don't know is behind the scenes is a certain character, a certain player. He's in the bottom left, right underneath the D. His name is Ryota Miyagi. Is the point guard. He, in so many respects, he's kind of like the leader. He's quick. He's smart. He can move circles around people on the court. But the thing that you don't know is that he looks up to someone. He looks up to his older brother, that's about 3 years older. And through his devotion to his brother, he became not just in love with basketball, but addicted to it. And on the court of this game, you get to see every walks of these characters' lives, who they are, who they become, and who they're meant to be. And it is a spectacle because I've never actually seen the anime. And so it was kind of like this was like my first real watch of this. Now, the other thing about this is that there was another anime that I'm going to be reviewing pretty soon called Link Click. The first season of Link Click is available on it right now. I think the second season is just became available. But one of the episodes of it is one of the characters goes and plays basketball. Now, this scene that I'm showing you right here is it was so awesome. And again, a part of this is I am a basketball fan. I'm actually an athlete and I love sports, right? And so when I saw this scene, I saw how fluid it was, how natural it was, and also like there's something about when you're in the zone and there's not just nobody stopping you, but nothing's gonna hold you back. That was what enticed me to kind of look at it, like, oh wait, is there any other basketball animes? And sure enough, I saw this on the horizon. And I was like, oh crap, this is actually pretty interesting because this has got some rich history. And I did not know. I was like, yo, I need to go and see who these awesome characters actually are. But what I didn't anticipate is that this was basically like their first trial run because this takes place in their second year. Now, I wish I would have had a little bit more time to go and do a little bit more research on what Slam Dunk actually was versus what I actually saw, so I don't give away anything. But at this point now, the movie's been out since July the 28th. So most of you guys have probably seen it. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you do. But there are a lot of basketball animes now that I'm finding this out. But the thing about this one that I found was so fascinating is the way that the characters progress to who they are. Because there's another anime called Tokyo Revengers. And one of the things about Tokyo Revengers is um, you have one pivot character that is devoted to something, and everyone around them, is going towards the same goals, but when the intersections happen, there's something that's cohesive. And there's something about this team that when they actually start to have that cohesion from friction, sometimes from losing themselves, sometimes like it may just be in the past. Because one of the things I found fascinating about this movie is that the whole entire movie, and I give them credit for this, was one game, not multiple different games, not multiple different this. It was one game, and you feel every single second of it. And the weird thing about it is that they do absolutely go back and show flashbacks of kind of how the characters got to who they are, And the one character that I thought was very fascinating, I didn't even think that I'd actually care about, was Sakaguri. Sakaguri, he's the character in the middle that is the redhead. And when you see him actually play, he kind of reminds you of like a Dennis Rodman kind of character. Like the way he plays, his style, like him throwing his body around. Like Dennis Rodman, a lot of people kind of give him flack for being weird and doing crazy stuff, but on the court, he would put his body on the line, and definitely his character is, connected to that. But it's so much more deeper than that because of his devotion to the team. It also shows different levels of who he was and what he's becoming. Much like, the main character in Ryota. Ryota, like as good as he is, amazing as he is, he's still also growing and learning. And when you get the understanding of the sacrifices that he's making on a daily basis just playing this game, the levels of hardship and emotional turmoil that he's battling on the court and off the court, is heartbreaking. And it's also inspiring all at the same exact time. Now, that's not to say that each other character isn't interesting, because there are certain characters in this that I felt like were really interesting as well, which is why I need to go back and see the anime, because some of these characters, I was like, wait, what is going on with this character? Like one of the characters, I kid you not, is actually a gangster. And like the way they kind of play it off is in the actual one of the game, you see somebody that looks like a mobster that's just sitting there in the sidelines, and I was like, who is this for? And then they show you kind of a flashback to show who it is, how they got to be who they are. And I'm not going to reveal it here, but it's just fascinating. Like each individual character has a place. Each individual character has a purpose and a pivot, not just to facilitate the game and for our entertainment, but in life. And I think that this movie, if you, I don't want to spoil anything. If you really truly push yourself in sports, right? I'll take golf, for example. If any person's ever played golf before, you could go and be amazing out there and do great, but then you go home and you have like a really bad day, and you go right back on the court, back on the field the next day, get out on that golf course, and all of a sudden, like, you're bogeying everything and you're just doing terrible. And then you realize, like, man, in your head, that's it. And a big part of basketball, yes, is physical, but a part of it also is you getting past your limits and knowing what's holding you back and knowing what you can push through. And specifically with Ryota, like, as talented as he is, like, as much as he is a leader, like, he also can hold anybody back, including himself. And I think that's the funny thing about like basketball as a whole. Like if you're playing with a team, not playing one-on-one or not going on in the backcourt, but if you're playing as a team cohesively, like it's a make or break if one person is out of check, if one person isn't making it, like it can change the balance of the whole entire game. And I love that aspect of this. Again, the other thing I was going to say is that like they use 3D models, but if you pay close attention to it, it almost looks like it's still 2D drawn, because it's so detailed with every character, whether it's their mannerisms, how they move. Like it's so fluid because they're taking advantage of the VFX on the 3D from the three-dimensional standpoint, but they're also not losing detail that you would get if it was kind of hand drawn, which leads me to believe they did a lot of the hand drawn on a digital palette or a pad, because it's so detailed. And I really appreciate it. Also, like as far as the score and the music, like it is a very good anime film. I highly recommend you go and check out the first Slam Dunk. And I personally am going to go back and go and check out the anime. And hopefully I'll give you guys a review for it soon. So if I had to give it a rating for it, and I can't believe I've been going so high with some of these, this is a 10 out of 10. I don't really have anything to knock it on because it's just so raw and so real. There's a scene that takes place not even on the court. It's a flashback scene. It takes place in a cave, believe it or not. And that scene, once you get the understanding of certain characters and a specific character, like it will break your heart to know what's going on here. And I personally truly did love this film. And I think that you will love it too, regardless if you're an athlete or not. And I highly recommend you go and check out the first Slam Dunk. I'll talk to you guys a bit later on. I got a couple different other reviews coming out soon. But yeah, go and check out the first Slam Dunk. If you have not had an opportunity, if it's still playing in your theaters, go and check it out. And if when and if it does release out on digital or available physically, go and buy it. Okay? Talk to you guys soon. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, people.
Filing out the top of the
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind.